Well, YouTube, it would appear that I am going to be covering a drama that I have never thought that I would be covering. Mostly because I never could have predicted something like this would have happened. That, of course, being Hasanabi versus Twomad. Now, for those of you who know, on the channel, I don't have a lot of very nice things to say about Hasan, but Twomad is someone that I've never talked about on the channel, and frankly, I did think that I probably never would have talked about him on this channel, at the very least for a long time, because he doesn't really get the drama, so it's absolutely baffling to see him going at it with Hasan, of all people. Now, I should clarify something. This is something that just happened like an hour or two ago. This is just me kind of wanting to get out ahead of it, if you will. It seems to be dying down right now, so hey, what better time to start talking about it and make a video than right now. This really started yesterday, but it's just carried over into today. It wasn't a problem yesterday until Hasan apparently realized that Twomad just wasn't joking about his criticism of Hasan, so I guess this is now a thing. I guess this is now a thing that I'm covering on the channel, which is awesome. So this drama starts yesterday, and Hasan basically just shares two headlines on Twitter and basically mocks them back to back, right? So the first headline being Delta CEO asks CDC to cut quarantine time for breakthrough COVID cases, and the second article says CDC shortens recommended COVID-19 isolation and quarantine time. Basically, he's making the point that, oh, big corporation asked for, COVID restriction measures to be let up, and the CDC agrees to that, right? Of course, this, completely ignores the possibility that, maybe people are just fed up with it, scientific advancements, blah, blah, blah. It's a very generalized statement, which, if you know anything about Hasan and his political statements, isn't completely far-fetched. He's not a very, he's very, I want to say he's charismatic, but I don't know if I even believe that. But one thing's for certain, he's definitely not an intellectual. I mean, even if he wants to portray himself as that, he's not really going to be winning any academic awards. And I don't think that because, oh, he's on the other side of the political aisle, and he's my enemy, and I am right, I must win. No. It's just, even if I was a leftist, I would probably hate Hasan Piker, mostly because he makes my side sound stupid if I was a leftist, and I'm not, which, hey, maybe I should probably have said that a little earlier, but that's just some bias for you. If you want to take what I say with a grain of salt, then by all means, go ahead and do that. But Hasan is, again, not someone that I think is very intelligent. He often gets himself into trouble by just tripping over himself all the time, so to see something like this be criticized is something that I would expect from right-wing people, but most leftists kind of just shut up with Hasan because it's easier, because he has so much influence. Like, almost every single tweet he makes gets like 30k likes. In fact, the tweet I showed at the beginning has 40k likes, so again, he's very popular, but I don't think he's very smart, so don't get that mixed up. Anyways, tangent aside, Twomad responded to this tweet, and he said, Hasan, this is Alex Jones, populism level, insinuating the Delta CEO through brute force power influence forced the CDC to cut isolation time when the CDC, via independent advisory signed off on by many epidemiologists, had already decided on it, to migrate health worker unavailability. Now, despite the fact that the first half of that tweet is like illiterate, I don't really know how to spell. Yeah, maybe I'm illiterate too, but no, I don't know necessarily the entire point of what Twomad was saying. I'm not going to pretend that, but I think what he was saying was basically, hey, listen, there are other reasons for why the CDC would basically say, hey, let's cut back on isolation times, aside from the fact that, big corporations said so. And I know that might be hard for Hasan to comprehend, but hey, maybe Twomad has a point. I haven't looked into it all that much, but that's not necessarily why I'm covering it. I don't really care in this situation who's right or wrong, because ultimately I think everybody at this point has made up their mind about, lockdowns and all that nonsense. So I'd be wasting my breath explaining it to you. So Hasan, right, then goes on to say, quote tweet it and say, I originally thought that this was a meme, and to be honest, I probably would have thought so too. I was wrong. Apparently there's a good deal of people on Twitter who truly think it's Sandy Hook was fake level conspiracy to repeat what the CDC openly stated. This is a new lowering of quarantine requirements, is to protect the economy, which isn't necessarily something that only the billionaires care about. Sometimes it's, other people, Hasan, mainly, if I had to imagine the working class, someone that Hasan claims to support, mind you, they kind of want to, be able to feed their families. I know, shocking, people out there don't want to starve. That's just utterly crazy to think about, I know. But Twomad then again responds by saying, you're doing the same thing the Trump supporters did when they called it Plan Emic. And I don't know if he misspelled that or whatnot. They said the CDC and Fauci were in the pockets of Big Pharma, and look where that got us. First to get the vaccines and close to dead last in vaccination rates in the developed world. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I'm agreeing with Twomad here. But in fact, maybe it's possible that both are stupid. Have we ever considered that? Anyways, nobody really goes to Twomad for political advice because he's Twomad. I wish some people would take that advice with Hasan and be like, wait a minute, this is Hasan Piker. We shouldn't be listening to him for our political advice. But hey, maybe one day people will learn. But again, who am I to force my beliefs on everybody, right? So Hasan then quote tweets Twomad and says, yes, it's actually Trump supporters who are in favor of continuing restrictions, famously, of course. Just come on the stream if you want to clarify your position, and rather than posturing with weird Twitter takes. And this is where I had to stop, lean back, right, and I had to go, Hasan, did you just fucking invite Twomad onto your stream to discuss politics? And this is where I have to apologize for not knowing all of the Hasan lore, or like every single minute detail about him, but I am pretty sure, at the very least, he applauded H3H3 for having Sam Cedar fight his battles for him, and yet he is basically now inviting someone, like, he criticizes Crowder all the time, I'm pretty sure, for, like, Steven Crowder, that being, for, basically, oh, he just debates college kids. He couldn't actually, go on a one-on-one with an intellectual or anything like that. And here he is, right now, like, calling for Twomad to come onto his stream to debate him. Mother of irony! Holy shit! How does that happen? I don't know. I genuinely couldn't tell you. Twomad, in the most rational he has been in the discussion, calls this out and says, you can't really be this stupid, Lamau. The comparison I'm making between Trump supporters suggesting the CDC was compromised by private businesses, and you're doing the same. And if you can't get that analogy, you should ask your uncle for a new job. And then Hasan then responds to Twomad, and I'm showing a quote tweet from Nicholas Diorio, and Hasan says, all I'm hearing is cowardly posturing behind the computer because you're worried that you won't be able to misrepresent what I'm very clearly stating in real time and relegate to uncle memes like a Groiper neckbeard. And for those that don't know, I'm pretty sure Groiper basically just means alt-right, or maybe Jew-hating. I'm not exactly sure, because again, I don't have time to obsess like politics like a fucking nerd. I am not a nerd. I know I play video games. I'm not a nerd. Shut up. Hasan then quote retweets Twomad's reply to him and says, this motherfucker has begged me in the DMs to come on my stream like 10 times, and now that I'm asking him to come on, it's all Twitter memes. It's all Twitter memes, guys. And then Twomad quote tweets him for a change and says, figures you'd avoid literally anyone who's knowledgeable on politics, like, I was about to say Twomad, but then I read the rest of the tweet. He says, but you got no problem debating Twomad, Greek, XQC, and Trainwrecks, and then you call me the coward in your echo chamber. Respond to what I'm saying, Hasan! Instead of begging me to come onto your stream. And, yeah, I agree with you, Twomad. For once in this thread, I think I totally, absolutely agree with you. And all I've really got to say about that now is that Destiny quote retweeted Twomad and said, he blocked me today, lol. And I checked, and I'm pretty sure this is in relation to Hasan, not Twomad. I also checked Twomad's Twitter to see if there was anything I missed, and he says, into the original quote retweet that Hasan did, he quote retweets that and says, I know you want to say that you were just pretending, but we all know government balances decisions for economy all the time, Azan, misspelling Hasan, I think, on purpose. Right? But you imply a compromised government by corporations, so to be honest, I clapped you up a bit, so chill with the Trump plan-emic misinformation for a week, ye? Stunlocked. Yeah, and then just one more tweet I just wanted to add to the pile before we wrap things up, that being from another tweet from Destiny saying, isn't it weird to say this when left-wing Steven Crowder thought it was hilarious when right-wing Steven Crowder got Sam Cedered? And yeah, I guess so. Hasan is I'm pretty safe in saying that Hasan is just a flat-out hypocrite that doesn't really believe in anything. If you remember Hasan, socialism is when no house, or whatever. He doesn't really stand by any of his principles. It's quite sad, honestly, that somebody like Hasan can basically get famous for preaching principles all the damn time, but really have no principles whatsoever. It is genuinely infuriating. And it's not like this occasional thing here and there. Hasan is probably the most consistently inconsistent person that has any sort of influence in the modern internet age. I could be, maybe I'm overselling it a little bit, but I still think, he's one of the cringiest people in politics, and I don't really follow politics all that much. I keep an ear out on the ground to just basically know what's happening, but other than that, I don't obsess over it like I guess some other people in commentary do. I know that Augie RFC and Nick DiOrio, they're kind of into politics. I avoided basically the blood sports quote-unquote saga of YouTube commentary, and thankfully, and I'm actually quite glad that I avoided that, because it sounds like a shit show. And I think in general, the best piece of advice I can give to you if you made it to this far in the video, don't obsess over politics. I originally said, and I had to cut it, don't care about politics, but that's something that I don't agree with. You should care about politics, you just shouldn't make it your life like these, I guess, debate bros, right, if you want to call them that, because you basically have to make a living disagreeing with people, or your personality basically requires that you're constantly engaged in political theater, and it's just fucking annoying. It is. There's nothing more annoying on the internet than dealing with someone who thinks they're God's gift to Earth. And I have to be honest, politics people are some of the most symptomatic people in that category. And yeah, that's basically all I've got to say. Try not to obsess over politics. And with all that being said, I've been KB Baby. God bless your soul. Stay rad. Don't be radicalized. And yeah, I'm signing off. Peace.